Fear is not something that I am participating in any longer. So here I am. I was told by a therapist a long time ago that because of the experiences that I've had in my life and the amount of time that I lived in fight or flight mode, that I now experience a heightened level of fear whenever I do experience fear. So things that used to not really scare me that much, scared me a little bit, they now absolutely terrify me. And one of those things is public speaking. So for the last couple of years, I've actually been using social media as a way to try to get over that fear. And I think it worked a little bit because a couple months ago on Mother's Day, actually, I spoke to a group of women about motherhood because I am a mom, I'm a bonus mom, I was a single mom. So I do have experience with mom stuff. So I feel like it did help a little bit to overcome that fear. And so part of getting over this fear is also being here in this space and doing this. So I am a domestic violence survivor and a cancer survivor. And those are really difficult things to experience. And I was young. I was really young. I was a single mom at 22. And at the same time, I was also dealing with cancer. So I had two small kids. I was trying to go back to school and I was doing cancer treatments, constantly doing testing. It was a lot. But something that I have always been drawn to or have gone to for, processing things is art, painting. That has been my outlet for as long as I can remember. So I chose to use art to express the things that I struggle to talk about. And words have never come easily to me. English is my worst subject. So I only survived doing English in college because of a really good friend of mine who was an English teacher at one point, and she helped me to write my essays because I struggled. I struggled a lot with that. So I have always used art as a way to express those things that I cannot verbally express myself. And I've gotten better over the years of expressing the things that have happened to me and talking about how they've affected my life and how I am trying to overcome the trauma that I did experience. And I painted some things that are hard to look at, like this one behind me. I've got a lot of comments on it. People don't like looking at it. It makes them uncomfortable. But I think that that was the entire point of it. I wanted people to be uncomfortable because I wanted them to understand the things that I had gone through and the things that I had experienced and how painful it was. So when you look at that, I mean, you can tell me in the comments how it makes you feel because that's how I felt at one point in my life. And so this painting had a lot of emotion put into it. And, when I painted things that were hard to look at, 3-year-old needs me. Give me a minute. Okay, I'm back. Mom life. So I encourage everybody to paint. And I was selling some of my paintings a couple weeks ago, and I had a lot of people stop by. And whenever they see my work, they're like, "Man, I wish I had a talent. Man, I wish I could do that. Like, I wish that I was able to paint and make beautiful things." And I tell them, you can. Oh no, I can't do that. People often diminish their capabilities. And I wish that we would stop doing that as humans because we really are capable of so much more than we think that we are. I was never athletic growing up. I was the chubby girl that was, doing the pacer and got out first because I was not athletic at all. But when I got older in high school, I recognized that when I would go running and I would move my body, my anxiety was so much less. Like I've had anxiety my whole life. It's just part of who I am as a person. So I knew that if I exercised, I felt better. And so I started running. And after I had my second child, a really good friend of mine came to me and she was like, "Hey, I'm going to be training for a half marathon and you should totally do it with me." And I, no, thank you. I was not interested at all. I was like, there's no way I could do that. I was running like maybe a mile at a time, maybe two. There was no way I could do 13 or over that. No way. So I it took some convincing. It definitely took some convincing, but she did convince me and I did end up training with her. So it took months and we would go out running together, and it got to the point where it felt so good to run 10 miles at a time. And then I ran the half marathon. And that was the first time in my life that I was like, holy cow, I am capable of so much more than I think I am. And from that point on, I realized like it really is mind over matter. Like you can convince yourself to do anything. If you really put your mind to it, you can do anything. So, yes, you are capable of making art. And every artist makes bad art. Like you're not going to be good when you first start, but that doesn't mean that you're not going to be good, a year from now if you start and you work towards it. It takes time to develop these skills. So, yes, you can make art. So if there is a moment in your life that you are trying to overcome some of the hard things that have happened to you and you feel like creating, go and create. Because when you put those thoughts into something else, it's a way of coping, it's a way of processing those things. You can't just bottle it up and hold it inside. I recently was told that like women, if you don't let it out, you can develop like autoimmune diseases or something. I don't want any more of those. So go and flip some tables and make some art, and make angry art, make ugly art. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. You just need to make art. Something else that I have figured out, like for a long time, I was only doing like abstract art, and that was like in high school because I never thought like, oh yeah, someday I can draw people or paint people. I didn't even try. I didn't even try because I just think, oh, I just like thought, no, I'm not going to be capable of that. I could never. And then after high school, I started getting into painting pet portraits, which didn't think I would be doing that, but I did. And I actually was able to draw like animals realistically. So that was kind of a shock to me. And from then, I started drawing. And I never thought like, oh yeah, I can draw people realistically. No, I actually started drawing people realistically, and that was a shock to me as well because I was like, oh, I can do that. Who knew? So you need to just branch out. Like don't just if you have a style of art that you like and you're doing it well, it's still okay to like branch out and try other styles of art. Like if you're doing abstract, that's awesome, but hey, like if you want to try doing something besides just abstract art, go and do something besides just abstract art. You can try anything really. And you're probably going to suck at first, but with time and practice, you could be amazing. So, yeah, we are far more capable than we really believe that we are. I have always used art as a way to express myself, to get the feelings out. And once I get it on a canvas, like it really does lift it off of my shoulders. I physically feel it leave my body when I put it into a painting. I'm sure everybody that has watched my videos has had some weird thing happen in their life or some traumatic event that they have to process. And it's okay to not be able to verbally express exactly how it made you feel. There's so many other ways that you can express it. So fear is not something that I am choosing to live by any longer. It's time to face those fears. It's time to grow as a person because I do not want to feel stuck anymore. So if you want to follow along, I post art content and I guess healing content because, life is hard and it's okay to voice the things that have happened to you and talk about how you can overcome them. So give me a follow, leave a comment, all the things. Thanks for being here. Have a good day.